Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Reading Reddit. And, this one is a really tough one here. And it is one that this one I just don't understand. But then again, I understand it completely. It's so weird here. There are times when friendships tend to become stronger and fall apart. And there are times when the reason that they fall apart is necessitated by a relationship. Maybe I've seen a lot of Reddit stories where the female friend is always, of the boyfriend, is always jealous of the girlfriend because, let's face it, she wants him. And then later on, there will be an update that they're having sex. That happens. But what's even worse about it is how especially the guys in these stories, always make excuses for the friend, as if they make excuses for the friend. So let me just dive in here. This is gonna be a roller coaster. I cut off my best friend because my wife told me to, and I hate myself for it. This is for updates. So, one, I'd like advice on how to fix things with my best friend after I cut him off. Two, I'm hoping he sees this post and talks to me. My best friend started using Reddit after his girlfriend cheated on him, and he said he came here for advice, and it really helped him. I know I'll get hate-filled messages for what I did, but I don't care. I just want to fix things, and I miss him, and I'm worried about him. So what happened? My wife and I are 25 and thinking about starting a family. I've known my best friend since we were teenagers. He grew up in the foster care system and in group homes. He had a really terrible time of it. When I met him, though, he didn't let any of that change him, though. He had always been such a loyal and caring guy. We became friends from the start, and we get along really well. When he turned 18, the foster parents that were looking after him kicked him out because they weren't going to receive benefits for looking after him anymore. I told my parents, and they let him live with us to finish high school and afterwards so he could find a place to live and wouldn't have to go homeless. I met my now wife while I was in uni when we started dating and met my friends. She was always a bit standoffish with him. He had always been kind to her and welcomed her wholeheartedly. When we got married, he was so excited. He did so much to help us with the wedding, helped organize everything pretty much, and even as an early wedding gift, paid for some of it. A couple of months ago, my wife and I started talking about kids and decided to try. Last month, she told me she didn't want him around our kids because of his childhood. She didn't want our kids to hear about how he grew up because she thinks it'll make them sad and she wants them not to lose their innocence. He has never really been weird about his childhood. If someone asks him, he's honest, but he doesn't shove it down your throat or anything. I initially pushed back and refused to cut off my best friend for something he had no control over. She was adamant that he was not going to be around the kids. She kept saying that she would not let his life make them sad. He's done incredibly well for himself. He has a stable job and an apartment, and that is honestly nicer than ours and is incredibly caring. She ended up giving me an ultimatum. Him or her. She's my wife. And I panicked, so I chose her and told him I wouldn't be able to see him anymore, and once we had our first child, we would be done. He tried to reason with me and even offered to speak to my wife about it. She met with him, but afterwards said it was sad, but her mind was made up. So I did it. I fully cut him off, and after I did, a lot of our friends did the same thing. They said they didn't want to cause any issues or start drama, so they also cut him off. I told them that there wouldn't be any drama, but they said what's done is done. My wife honestly seems pleased that it happened the way it did. I've reached out to him a couple times to see how he's doing and make sure he's okay, but he's only replied once. 2 nights ago, I tried calling him, but he's blocked my number. He doesn't have social media, so I tried to go to his place and talk to him, but he didn't answer. I know he was home because I heard his TV on. I've asked my friends if they heard from him, but he's blocked them all as well. I don't know his Reddit username, but I can't think of anything else to do. I miss him, and I guess I've realized I want him in my life. I want my future kids to know him. I want them to look up to him the same way I do. He's an incredible person. He's never let how he grew up stop him. He's always striving to be of service to those around him. I can't sleep and I can't believe I did what I did. I spoke to my wife and she said she felt guilty for what has happened. No, she don't. No, she don't. She ain't like him from the beginning. She's happy with it. I can't go to his work because he works for the government and they'll never let me in the building to go to his office to talk to him. I need advice on how to make things right and see him again. My wife and I have decided we were wrong and she has said she wants to apologize for this. How can I fix this, Reddit? How can I get him to talk to me again? Please help. Also, Scott, if you're reading this, I am so sorry. I know what I did was an awful thing to do. I hate how I acted. We all miss you, man. Please talk to me. I understand if you don't want to forgive me, but please let me know you're okay. If you don't want to be my friend anymore, I would just understand. I just miss talking to you. I love you, bro. TLDR, I cut off my best friend because my wife and I want to start a family and now regret it deeply. I'll do anything to make this right. I've read every comment and I'll try to reply as best I can. I appreciate where everyone is coming from. I'm going to step away for a bit and write a letter to Scott, and my wife is going to do the same. I knew I would get a lot of pushback I knew I would get a lot of hate, and I knew the same would be directed toward my wife. I guess my second intention for the post hasn't come to fruition. I haven't heard from Scott yet. I hope I do. And I'm grateful for the advice, even the mean comments. Now, here is where the internet comes in. One High Horse wrote, "What about your wife? Is she willing to apologize and welcome him into your lives?" OP replies, "She is. She's agreed to write a letter to him as well, apologizing for what she did and how she's treated him in the past. She feels awful. She admits his childhood made her uncomfortable. She has a happy family, so I think she feels guilty about that. She isn't a bad person, just misguided." Crazy Plankton, his childhood makes her uncomfortable? Are you joking? What happens if the kids you supposedly want have a friend in the system? Then cut them off too? OP replies, "I just think she feels guilty that she has a full happy family and they are pretty wealthy. She's just sheltered and doesn't deal with a lot of turmoil growing up. I know hearing some of the stories of abuse from his childhood made her feel very uncomfortable, but she never had to deal with adults hitting her or refusing to feed her. That was his childhood, pretty much. She was worried he'd tell our future kids that, and they'd become sad and scared for life." And then and here we go with the last comment here. Darkness Beyond wrote, "Is there some reason why they all instantly sided with you? No one sided with him at all. That this makes zero sense." And then OP replies, "Well, from what they've said, it seems like this was the easier option. I'm not at all happy about it, and I've asked them to cut us out and not him, but it was too late and he'd already blocked them all." So someone in the comments claiming to be Scott jumped in with his full ire. No Art 7321 says, "Go fuck yourself, James. Maybe I blocked you because you cutting me off showed me who you really are. Side note, let's not act like Cindy didn't want me around because of my childhood. She never liked me. I tried to be nice to her, but she had made her mind up as soon as I met her. I know she didn't want me to be your best man, and I know this isn't the first time she's tried to remove me from your life. So enjoy your shitty marriage. When she finally does cut you off as well, don't come crying to me. Don't bother with your bullshit letter. I don't want it. Keep the keys to my place. I'm changing the locks. I'm used to being alone. It is better than putting up with either of you. Eat shit and die, cunt." And then here's another one. "Life isn't always rosy and fun." I've been reading all the comments. It's been kind of cathartic to read James try and cover for himself and his wife while also trying to act like he cares, only to be shut down by everyone. I know I shouldn't find joy in it, but it is fun. I'll be okay. Life moves forward, onwards and upwards. So about 1 month later, OP jumps in with another update. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to come back to Reddit after my last post, but I need somewhere to vent, so here seems as good a place as any. My last post received probably a well-deserved amount of hate, and I understand that I fucked up when I cut my friend off. I imagine anyone reading this only cares about how he's doing, so I'll start with what little I know. We haven't spoken really. He found my post and sent me a message telling me he didn't care if I was remorseful. He's done with me. He also told my parents what happened and the reasoning behind it. They were pissed, to put it lightly. They've been pretty open about how much they are disappointed in me and how they are disgusted with my wife. He hasn't really spoken to them other than to let them know what happened. My mom is heartbroken. She really loved him, and now he isn't really replying to her messages. The only thing I've really heard is that he's speaking to his ex again. She cheated on him, and I know he's only probably speaking to her for some support. I guess I'm probably worried he'll give her another chance and she'll hurt him again. Other than that, I don't know anything. Lots of messages telling me to divorce my wife. Well, you might get what you want. Our relationship has taken a massive dive off a cliff, and I don't see any way to repair it. To those telling me something must have happened between them, I can only say this. He's not that kind of person. He'd never betray me like that. I don't know if I can say the same for my wife anymore, given how she's manipulated me into ditching my best mate. But I know he's not the sort of person to participate in that. It seems like she just didn't like him and wanted him gone. She used the potential of us starting a family to make a move to remove him. So, to recap, my parents hate me, my best friend won't talk to me, he's now talking to his ex who cheated on him and broke him last year, my marriage is probably broken beyond repair, and I don't see any real way to fix things, but I guess I'm wondering if there is any way to possibly fix things with him. Anyway, if anyone has any advice, I'd appreciate it. I miss him more than anything. TLDR, my life is collapsing around me. My best friend won't talk to me. My parents hate me. My marriage is probably over. And my best friend is making a huge mistake talking to his ex. So that post was quickly locked, so people were unable to comment. Now, this is what happened. Like she's never liked Scott. Maybe she was jealous of their friendship because they had been friends for so long and she wanted to isolate him. And then I think that what ends up happening is now that she's isolating him and she pretty much is bored because she doesn't have anyone to play with, she discards him because what use is he to her? All right, so now jumping back to Scott, and he gives an update on his side of things. First, I want to thank everyone for the incredible comments and messages I've received over the last couple of days. I know a bunch of people are here because of a certain someone's post. I appreciate all the incredible support I've gotten since then, whether by comment or chat request. You're all such kind people, and it's truly brought a tear to my eye reading them all. I'm going to try and get back to them all, but I've had a rough couple of days, as I'm sure you can imagine. Not from just reading that BS bullshit he wrote, but work has also been pretty stressful lately on top of it, and I've struggled to keep up with all the notifications, so please just know you're all awesome. I'll try to make an effort to reply to everyone this weekend. Secondly, to answer more of the common questions I've received lately. I have no intention of letting James back or his friends back into my life. As my mantra goes, they've made their decision, so I'm going to make mine. I'm moving on with my life, albeit alone, but that's life sometimes. Secondly, part two, I'm not much of a gamer, and I'm seriously considering getting more into it, and I'm so appreciative of all the comments and messaging offering to squat up for some games. I'm not at that point just yet, but please know when I am. I have a lot of people who I owe a message about that, and I am about to try and at least get a game in with each of you if you'll let me. And finally, I know that while I may not have many real life friends, I have what seems to be an entire army of Reddit friends, which is given my experience so far, I prefer wholeheartedly. You guys truly are the best. I'm not going to go on much more because I'm exhausted and have to work early tomorrow, but once again, thank you all. Please stay safe and keep being the incredible, kind, warm-hearting, empathetic people that you are. You are all truly legends, and I wish I could thank and hug each of you in person. You guys really made a dark time for me feel a whole lot brighter. And the support continues to pour in, so I'm going to get these two comments where Scott responded here. No cartographer, honestly, you're doing amazing. Fuck them and don't listen to anyone who says just forgive your best mate because you'll regret it. That's a whole lot of bullshit. I really do hope that you manage to make more friends. If you need any IRL friends, feel free to reach out. You deserve happiness. Scott responds, thank you so much. I'm doing okay right now. Work has kept me pretty busy these last couple of days, which I weirdly am appreciative of. I'm not going to let what they did go. I'll just be fine without them. And then the last comment before another update is this Electric Ghost. I'm a bit late to the party here, but keep your head up. You don't need these toxic asses in your life anyway. Your ex-best friend and a lot of them made their beds, and now there's no helping the situation they put themselves in. I'm not in Australia, but you definitely have my support coming from the US. I saw another comment you made that you're on PC, and while I'm on Xbox, I can definitely say that I've met some pretty good friends over gaming. It's a bit different than real life friends, but it's nice knowing that people out there have your back, and now I got it too. James and the rest of those idiots can just fuck right off. Who needs friends like that when you have all these new internet friends? Good luck, dude. Scott responds, thank you for the support, man. I'm doing okay right now. Just trying to get everything at work sorted. Yeah, I gotta get around to playing some games. Need to find that motivation to actually sit down and really give it a go. I've played some over the last couple of days. Someone on here recommended Elden Ring, and I've been enjoying that. I need to actually take the plunge on a multiplayer game, though, so I can take some Redditors up on their offers to play. Now, a few months later, Scott shared a final update, and here it is. I guess I want to clear the air here. I want everyone to know I've read all of your messages and comments. I firstly appreciate everyone who has sent me a message or has commented, but this has all become a little overwhelming. I now have 50 plus chat requests, most of which offering support, and that's awesome. I guess I want to put a lid on all of this because I felt a bit like it's a bit much right now. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad because I know 99% of you are just trying to be supportive, but it's gotten a little out of hand now. It's made me feel a little skeptical of whether or not messages are truly coming from for support or just people looking for more drama. So I'm making this post to put an end to it all for my own mental health. I've had a bunch of messages asking me to talk to James' parents. I for a while didn't reply to their messages or calls. I felt awkward because they're obviously his parents and I'm the kid they let live with them. I have now, though, and I'm glad I did. It's definitely more of a tepid relationship than before, but it's okay. James' mom has always been a big support person for myself, so it's good to talk to her again. She used to sit with me when I'd have nightmares and talk about them with me until I fell asleep again, so she'll always have a big place in my heart. I've been having them again more recently. I haven't had the heart to tell her yet. I'm just hoping that they'll stop so I don't have to. I don't want her to worry. As for my ex, I don't want to get into that too much. We're talking for a bit, but that stopped. I was lonely and felt vulnerable. I'm no longer talking to her, so no worry here. And to the people telling me to forgive James for what he did, yeah, no, fuck off. He's a grown ass man. He made his decision. I don't care if he was manipulated by his wife, he chose to cut me off. He watched me beg him to change his mind, and he still decided to act like a cunt. With some hindsight, I've noticed our relationship since high school has been very one sided. I'm not looking to do that again. He can enjoy the bed he made. I really don't want to have to get into this again, so I am asking that if James makes another bullshit post claiming his life is a mess, please don't bring it to me. I don't care what's going on in his life. I don't care if he gets divorced or has kids. He's on his own, and it's about time he gets an understanding of how that feels. I'm going to say this as well. I'm sorry, but I probably won't reply to everyone's messages or comments. It's hard enough keeping up with the people who have been messaging. I'm not going to add 50 plus other people to that stress. Please know I appreciate the messages, but I'm not some superhuman that could keep up with unlimited messages and people. So I'm used to having 10 friends at most. This has all been a little bit overwhelming. I'm hoping that I don't come off as a huge cunt in this post, but I am also pretty skeptical that everyone who has messaged me actually cares. That's a foster kid's mindset for you, though. I'm not used to people actually caring, so that's that. Also, side note, I appreciate everyone who has asked me if I'd like to meet up for a beer or whatever. That is truly kind of you, but I'm not in the habit of actually meeting people who reach out to me online. I can see you're coming from a place of love, but I'm also pretty attached to my kidneys and other non-vital organs, so I'd rather not risk it. I don't want to wake up in a bathtub full of ice, no offense, but I feel like I should err on the side of caution in this situation. So thank you for being so kind. Please don't hate me for this post. Just felt the need to get this one out. I've struggled with whether or not to make it for a bit. Once again, hopefully I don't come off looking like a cunt. Please take care and being kind people. I appreciate you guys. Edit. I've just noticed that there is a decent amount of swearing in this. Apologies for that. I'm Aussie, and that doesn't mean a great deal here. I just know I can be a little jarring for the delicate ears of the Yanks, so sorry about that. I'm not leaving Reddit or anything. I'm just over the shit with James. Had a couple of people ask me, just want to clear that up. Whew. Oh, this one. I feel like if I smoked, I'd have a cigarette right now. James is an asshole. And you know what? I'm glad that his marriage is falling apart because he's just a spineless ass who just wants to he now wants pity when he wants pity over his decision to drop who was supposed to be his best friend. I don't care if somebody I'm dating is telling me to drop my best friend. I'm gonna be like, get your ass out of here. No, you're not going to tell me who I can be friends with if it's not hurting, if it's not an unhealthy friendship. You're the one that's going to go. You're toxic. You get the hell out of here. I need to find a few wholesome stories now to kind of cleanse that palate. See you soon.